What's good, everyone? This is Justin Just Rock Ramon from the Just Trek podcast, where elevation is our recreation. Super excited for you to check out our next episode as it features a talented adventure elopement photographer named Jennifer Whalen. We dived into Jen's earliest hiking memories, what inspired her to first pick up the camera, her journey from traditional wedding photography to specializing in adventure elopements, held in the stunning landscapes of California's national parks and beyond, and the behind-the-scenes planning that goes into crafting these one-of-a-kind wilderness ceremonies. Jen also shares her top trails in California, why capturing timeless moments drives her, and how her love for the outdoors fuels the purpose behind her work. Whether you're an adventure-minded couple or simply a nature lover, this episode is packed with insight into alternative wedding experiences and embracing California's wondrous landscapes. In addition to this YouTube video version you are watching right now, we have audio versions available on Apple Podcasts and a video and audio version available on Spotify. You can find those links in the description. All right, let's get to trekking and get into this episode. All right, y'all, we are back at it with another episode with another incredible guest whose work all you adventure couples out there are going to absolutely love. We are out here in Lake Balboa in the San Fernando Valley region, recording lakeside. And right here next to me, we have Jennifer Whalen, SoCal hiker, world traveler, California elopement photographer, and the founder of Jennifer Whalen Weddings. So excited to say welcome to the Just Trek podcast, Jen.
Thank you for having me, Justin. I've been looking forward to it, so.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about this for a while, and I was like, okay, we need to just make this happen. And I know you've been so busy with all the adventure elopements, traveling around California, and just life in general, right?
I had a very busy year, so I'm finally, all the elopements are done for the year, and now I'm in my slow season, so it's a good time to do it.
How does it feel to be in the slow season of your work right now?
This is very common for weddings. You know, it always slows down in November. There's always a few people that want to get married during those winter months, but you know, it picks up in the spring. And then from spring through summer, fall is a very big time for people to want to get married. So yeah, it's not that I have a seasonal job. The photography part is seasonal. But in the off season, I'm still very, very busy. I'm still putting in full days of work.
That makes sense.
Doing lots of consult calls with couples, getting their elopements planned.
Prepping for the next year, it sounds like.
Yeah, prepping for the next year, updating the website, blogging all of the previous elopements that happened. You know, there's just a whole lot of back-end work that I'm doing in the off season. So yeah, you know, I'm not driving around California as much, you know. By the way, this past year, I think I put on like 25,000 miles on my car. It
25?
Yeah, it was a busy year.
Up and down the California coast.
Yep. For a couple of the elopements, I actually go into Oregon. Not that I'm in Oregon, Pacific Northwest, you know, I don't
service that area?
Yeah, I don't service that area, but there's an area up there. There's a beach area location that we go to when I go up there for the Redwoods.
Oh, the Redwood State Park area.
Yeah, we'll go into Oregon for the sunset session at the beach.
Wow. I still haven't been to Oregon, and that that northern part of California, like bordering that area, and I just know it's a whole different world out there.
You've got to go. Yeah, well, plan a Just Trek
group hike
up there. Yeah, I don't know how many people would be able to make it. It's a long ways. It's a good 2-day drive from here. A lot of people just fly up there.
Co-hosted by Jennifer Whalen.
Yeah.
Because you know the spots up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, the trees up there are absolutely epic. It is really otherworldly. They're like sequoia big.
Correct.
You know, they're huge. But they look very different than sequoias. They have all this moss growing on the trees. The ferns are massive. Just everything is massive. You really do feel like you're stepping into Jurassic Park, like a scene from Jurassic Park. It's unbelievable up there. it never gets old. I'm wowed every time I go up there.
It feels very Pacific Northwest in that part of California. The moss, the ferns.
Yeah, I would say it's, yeah, as far as being a little more damp and that sort of thing. But I don't think the trees are nearly as big up in Oregon. I'm not sure because I don't do elopements in, I don't service
Pacific Northwest
Pacific
area yet.
Northwest. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I will ever. It's too far away. I'm not a big fan of rain. Like, I'll take snow any day, but rain,
That's why you moved to Southern California, Jen.
yeah, I feel like California just in general is a little bit drier, and of course there's always a chance of rain, especially in the off season, or the rainy,
The winter months usually have
yeah.
rain.
But yeah, up in the Pacific Northwest, I feel like there's just a chance of rain all the time. Yeah.
It pretty much drizzles almost every day or every other day. I lived in Seattle for like a year and a half.
Did you really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I moved out there after college, and I would always visit my parents multiple times a year when they were still living there. And you just get used to it. It's not like this super intense rain all the time. It's always just drizzling. Everyone got their, rain shell jacket. That's like the fashion out there. It's just normal to always be wearing one or have one on standby. But
Yeah, no thanks. Like I said, I will take snow any day. I don't care if it snows. But
and I know you don't mind snow because you're originally from Minnesota, am I
I
correct?
am, yeah.
And I know the snowstorms in the winters out there are extremely intense.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold. It's a very long winter. Yeah, and when it snows, it snows. You got to get the snow blower out, and yeah, you got to scrape off the windshield. And
Did you grow up next to your radio, like waiting for like the school delays and school closures?
oh yeah, that was really fun actually, like getting the day off of school.
I feel like a lot of people that I talk to, they can't relate to that because, they're from the West Coast or California, but I'm from Baltimore, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, I remember.
That's why I was like, I think Jen probably had the same like upbringing, like with the winter seasons. Like we're always just next to the radio station, a 1 hour delay, 2 hour delay. Oh, we're really close to school's about to be closed.
Yeah.
And then when they close school, you're like, free day. You go out and play in the snow.
Yeah, you go out and play in the snow. It was great. Yeah, good memories from that. Because it would just be, kind of random, like a random Wednesday or whatever. But no, I'm really happy to live here in Southern California. I really like the dry heat. I do miss the seasons, but we do have Big Bear close by. There are snowy areas in California where I can just go and enjoy that. The Minnesota winters are kind of long and they just kind of drag on. It's a very long spring, a long and cold spring. So, but yeah, I don't do any elopements in Minnesota. I stick to California, by the way. Some elopement photographers, they kind of service the whole United States. Like they'll go anywhere, they'll go over to Europe, I stick to just California.
I think I saw you were just in Catalina over the weekend or over the
I
past
was.
couple of weeks.
Yep.
Was that for work or play? And how was
no,
it like out there?
Yeah, it was for an elopement.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go out to Catalina a handful of times every year for elopements. And we can talk about the different locations that I service
Okay.
in California because
We have so many airplanes. Why? It wasn't like this earlier.
this is very LA. This is just with these helicopters flying over all the time. This is so LA.
Yeah, it's you would think we're next to LAX airport, but we're not. These are just random helicopters around this beautiful park right now.
Just random helicopters, police helicopters, news helicopters. Van Nuys Airport isn't too far away.
Oh, that's right. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Burbank's
so-
not too far away.
Right. Yeah. So we're like in the middle of the city here. I know it looks really calm being next to this lake, but we're like we're like in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a concrete jungle out there.
That's literally what LA County is.
Like every block surrounding here.
And going back to Catalina, how was that elopement experience for you? How was the weather? Like, how was the couple?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah. It's November right now, so yeah, it was really nice and warm. I got to start promoting November around here a little bit more, at least for Southern California. It's just, yeah, it's a really nice time of year. We're past the summer heat. We're not quite into the rainy season yet, although we are coming up on the rainy season. This week we're gonna have rain this week, so.
And snow. A lot of snow in the high elevation mountains and peaks like Mount Baldy.
Yeah, yep. And we can talk more about the risks involved with planning an elopement during the different times of year and what to expect for weather and whatnot. But yeah, Catalina was beautiful. We had a beautiful sunset and the island was really nice, and there were actually quite a few tourists, but it wasn't those heavy summer crowds. It wasn't, and I planned it so that we weren't there on a cruise ship day, because when there's a cruise ship there, there's all those extra tourists crowding the area, and you're never going to have Catalina Island to yourself, and I don't think people expect to have Catalina Island to themselves, but it is nice if you don't have all those cruise ship people.
Once upon a time ago, Jen, when I was a senior in college, I took the Carnival Cruises, multi-day cruise, stopped in Catalina, then I went to Ensenada. So I was one of those people coming off the cruise, just ready to party. And I just remember, went out there to eat and drink, took a golf cart up this hill all the way to the top of the island, didn't do any hiking. I wasn't quote unquote outdoorsy yet. But that was my experience. It wasn't to go out there to have these outdoor adventures or explore nature there. It was literally to party and come off a cruise ship. So hopefully when I return back, because that was my only time there, I'll have a completely different experience. I also just want to acknowledge that it's really awesome to have you on the show, because you've been a longtime friend and you've actually known me way before this whole Just Trek crew, Just Trek podcast.
Yeah, way
movement
before. Yeah, you were one of the first people I met when I moved to Los Angeles.
I was one of your first LA friends.
Yeah, back in 2014.
Oh my God, it was back then?
Yeah.
That's intense.
Actually, end of 2013, but we'll just call it 2014 yeah.
And refresh my memory, what inspired you to move from Minnesota to Los Angeles, Southern California?
I just needed a change of scenery. I needed more scenery. Minnesota is it's kind of the same thing for miles on end. It's pretty. Northern Minnesota is really pretty. Yeah, I had been living in Minneapolis. I went to the University of Minnesota. It was just time for a change. Time for something new. It's a whole big country. I feel like we kind of take it for granted. It's the same language throughout the whole country. We can all understand each other. Of course, we all have different accents and dialects, but we can all understand each other. It's the same language. You don't have to apply to be a resident or anything. You can just move about from state to state. I mean, same currency. It's a huge country. There was just no way I was gonna live my whole life in one area that I grew up in.
Love that perspective, especially that you came here. I feel like everybody at least once in their life should just spend maybe if you don't even live here, just spend 2 to 3 months out in Southern California. I feel a lot of people will really enjoy, this part of the U.S.
Yeah, LA is certainly not for everyone. I don't even know if it's for me, really. After all these years of being here, I still don't quite feel like I fit in culturally, but I certainly love the weather. And by the way, I didn't know what I was doing when I moved out here. I didn't know the difference between Los Angeles and Orange County, and I didn't know. I didn't really have a grasp on how big the area really was.
LA County alone is so massive.
Oh yeah.
is a tale of just many different cities and neighborhoods all spread out. It's not like New York where everything is so dense and so close to each other.
Yeah, right. Well, aside from Los Angeles County, you have Riverside and San Bernardino counties and Ventura County and Orange County. Yeah, I mean, it just keeps going and going. And
I
they
love
all
Ventura County.
blend into each other. Yeah. But yeah, I really like the dry heat out here. And, you know, it is a desert, but it's not too deserty feeling. So
I like the dry heat as well because back home in the East Coast, it's humidity. I don't know how it's like in Minnesota, but
very humid.
what comes with
Yeah.
humidity is giant mosquitoes.
Yeah, yeah, we
And-
take it. Yeah, everyone who grows up here, they don't know what it's like
Nope.
to have mosquitoes. I mean, they're like relentless. This minute the sun goes underneath the horizon, it's just a swarm of mosquitoes. Yeah, you're getting bitten up. You can't really walk around during dusk. At least I couldn't. You know, in Minnesota, dusk
humidity-
they would start coming out.
Yeah,
in
I
the summer.
forgot about that. That's very true. I never forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but the humidity breeds these like mutant mosquitoes where you're like, that looks scary. I'm gonna go back into the house. But here it's dry heat. Yes, you might get your mosquitoes in some sections, but it's never to the point that it's like ruining your day or it's like such a bother, right?
Yeah, right. You don't need to surround yourself with citronella candles. You can just have your little campfire. And yeah, after a while, you kind of take it for granted.
You don't need to wear a bug net unless you're like
Yeah, right.
maybe in some parts of the Eastern Sierra in the summer next to a beautiful alpine lake.
Yeah, right. Unless you're by water. Like, I'm sure this area, you know, just with all the water, I'm sure this gets a little mosquito ridden at certain times of the day. But yeah, and I do appreciate the water. The one thing out here is that there aren't very many lakes or sources of nice, beautiful water, but whatever. Got the ocean.
Yeah, we got the Pacific Ocean right there, and LA does have a river, the LA River, but it only looks like a river in certain sections, more like in the Frogtown area.
It's the most disgusting river I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible.
If you go to the section of the LA River next to Frogtown, you'll think differently. Trust me.
Where is this?
Frogtown is formerly, I think, Elysian Valley. It's like very close to, it's like northeastern Los Angeles, kind of like relatively around like the Highland Park area.
Huh, I used to live over there.
Yeah, I didn't even know about Frogtown or formerly Elysian Valley until a few years ago when we started hosting the Just Right podcast anniversary parties out there. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the most lush part of the LA River. And you're going to be shocked when I say this. They actually have LA River kayaking tours out there. That's how actual beautiful
Really?
it looks. Yeah, I'll put you onto that.
So there's actual water in the LA River in that section of the river.
And lush trees in the very middle and beautiful birds just like congregating there. Like it doesn't look real. And then it's contrasted with like the concrete channels, but you're like, this is such a metaphor of like what LA is, you know, this concrete jungle.
Interesting. And it's sanitary enough to do kayaking in there?
Apparently, yeah, there's a whole company called LA River Safari Kayaking Adventures.
Interesting.
Something like that.
Okay. Wow. I learned something new about Los Angeles every time I talk to someone. Yeah. I guess that's the beauty of living in such a big city is that there's always stuff. I could live here for the rest of my life and discover new things.
Jen, I've been here 2 decades and I've just been rediscovering it over and over again. Clearly, you know, the past several years through the nature and the outdoors, but just to your point, yeah, this is one of those like cities or regions of California or just the country where it's just like, there's just too much out here.
Yeah, and you know what? Just California in general. I'm still discovering new things that just blow my mind. I went up north by Mount Shasta, sorry.
See, I still want to go up there. Like that's been a dream to see that 14,000 foot mountain.
Yeah, the mountain was, I didn't spend too much time up there. My whole purpose was to go to all the waterfalls up there, and they were unbelievable. I need to show you some videos and pictures of these waterfalls up there. They were incredible. You don't think of California as being having all these amazing waterfalls, but they were stunningly, I mean, they were huge, they were clean, they were so, it was just beautiful, clean, white water. You know, some waterfalls, actually many waterfalls that I've seen, they can be kind of yellow and kind of dirty looking. No, these waterfalls were unbelievable.
Share those gems with me. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got to show them to you because you'll be inspired to go up there. You got the little town there, and then this, this giant mountain right there.
I love the mountain communities. They're so charming, and you always find these cool little shops.
It was very charming. Yeah. It was really inspiring to me, and hopefully I'll get some couples to elope up there because it's just a whole area of California that I haven't done any elopements in. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and now that I've been up there, I'm very, so when I do elopements, I only go to places where I have been to and scouted. It's just been so few and far between where I've done an elopement where I've never been. I feel like it's really important to me to do elopements where I've physically been to and I know the area. I just,
You feel confident in the place, you know the place rather well, you already scouted it.
Yeah. It's very far. It's like a 2-day drive.
2-day drive? How long if you
Pretty
just did it in
much.
one day, like what, 15 hours, 12 hours?
I'm sure you could make it up there in 15 hours, but I can't drive for that long. I gotta call it a day after 9 hours of driving. I can't.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I
It's
can't do
dangerous
this.
at that point.
I think so. Yeah, like in the middle of the night, driving around, it's you don't know who's on the road and unfamiliar areas.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah, so I would give it a couple days. Or if you want to take a flight up there, you can do that too. But I like to be in my own car, pack it
Road
full.
tripping.
Yeah, pack it full with all my stuff, not squeeze it into a little airplane overhead or something.
Your whole life packed into your car, ready to go to work.
That's what I do.
That's exactly what you do.
Because I'll be gone for like 2.5 weeks sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, my car is packed to the brim.
I believe that.
Yeah. So.
That's so cool how in your line of work, you get to explore these different parts of California and actually spend extensive time out in these places because I'm sure like when you're out there, you're like, well, I might as well also scout more or like explore the town and really get to know it because it benefits you personally and also I imagine for your work as well too.
Yeah. It's a balance because I'm pretty diligent about getting going on the editing. When I'm in the middle of my season, that's just always been part of my workflow. And every photographer is different. Some have a different comfort level with doing a bunch of shoots and then editing all of it months and months later. I've never felt super comfortable with that. I get going on the editing relatively pretty quickly. So yeah, it really is a balance. It's kind of depends on how spread out the elopements are. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, during my waterfall trip, that was right in the middle of a bunch of elopements. So I just took that opportunity to go up there and scout a bunch of areas that I've always wanted to go to. And it worked out, I was gone. I hadn't been home for like 3.5 weeks at that point, but.
Oh, wow, about a month. Okay, you keep talking about this waterfall trip. Give me one of the waterfalls that you explored out there that I should visit and that the listeners should know about it.
Okay, one is Bernie Falls. That was.
Oh, I've always heard about that one.
Yeah, it was just. Oh, it was amazing. I could have just spent all day there.
Anything in particular about Bernie Falls that really stood out to you or like that was like, wow, this is a special waterfall?
It was so panoramic and just the whole area. It was a nice little easy hike. You can do elopements there. I'm really excited to do an elopement there. Yeah, it was very straightforward, paved path. You could easily get some parents, maybe even grandparents down there, and really clean water, just beautiful white clean water. It was just like the mist coming off of the waterfall. It was just so peaceful
Wow.
there. Not to mention the surrounding area. There were lots of picnic tables around, and
Sounds so scenic. I remember from the photos I've seen online, it's a very wide waterfall too, right?
very wide.
Okay.
Yeah, panoramic.
Yeah.
Yes, very cinematic. And then there's a little hike that you can do that kind of goes up to the top of the waterfall, and
Wow.
yeah.
Is this in the same area as Devil's Postpile Monument?
Devil's Postpile.
Does that ring a bell? Because I know.
Is that over by Mammoth Lakes?
Yeah, I think in that general area.
No, it's quite a ways away.
It's a ways. Okay.
A ways
Never
away.
mind then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've all these things marked on like a future like Eastern Sierra road trip or like Mammoth Lakes.
I
area
have
road
been to
trip.
that waterfall though. You go to Devil's Postpile and then you continue down the trail, and yeah, you come to a really big waterfall. And that's a really beautiful waterfall, and I think that would make for a really nice elopement spot too. I'm kind of picky about my elopement spots. Just the nature of being in a wedding dress and a suit, people don't want to get sweaty or like be hoofing it uphill for long periods of time. So I like to keep the hikes around 1.5 miles each way, so that we're not spending all day long just hiking, because we got to spend sufficient amount of time taking pictures and making sure I'm getting those money shots.
Yeah.
So
You got to get the money shots when they pay you the big money.
yeah, so yeah, spending like 5-6 hours hiking is just, we're not.
Nah.
Yeah.
Save that for the Just Trek crew. We'll do that.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, I do know what hike you're referencing there, and I've presented it a couple times to some couples who have inquired about Eastern Sierras, but haven't done it yet for an elopement. But personally, I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I know that just to close the loop on that, I saw a fellow trail runner hiker in the community a few months ago mention that if you go behind Devil's Postpile Monument and just keep going further and further back, because if you see a big waterfall and you go above it, which sometimes can be sketchy, there's like a whole other world out there. You just see more waterfalls, it's more remote, more swimming holes, much more rugged wilderness, like remote beauty. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that sometime next year. So
Yeah, I know that below that waterfall is another waterfall that's a little bit more, it's not so vertical, it's a little more gradual, but it was getting dark at that point. It was like we were well past sunset, so
oh yeah, no
we
need to
headed
do
back.
that.
Yeah.
Being next to a waterfall when it's near sunset hour or the dark, it just sounds evil, even though it's such a beautiful, majestic thing to observe. I always remember descending down from the Half Dome hikes, coming down the mist trail in the dark, and I'm just like, this sounds like an evil waterfall right next to me, just thrashing water. You can't see anything. You just have your headlamps. Wow, the birds are acting wild.
Yeah, we
over
got
here.
the birds, and then we got another
Helicopter.
airplane. Yeah.
We keep it real on the Just Trek podcast, doing it out of nature.
Yeah, these birds are very loud.
Yeah, they weren't as loud before, so maybe it's all the food they've been eating being fed by all the park goers. All right, Jen. So before we get into all your recent adventures and adventure weddings, I do want to learn more about you and your outdoor journey and dig deeper into that. So I want you to take us back. What would you say was your first hiking memory?
So I'd say the very first hiking memories I have were just from going to camp through the summer Parks and Rec program. I'm from a small town, and there's a lot of bluffs around. Grew up right on the Mississippi River it was like a very scenic area. So yeah, those were my first hiking memories. But other than that, I spent my entire childhood outdoors. I was very comfortable being outside. I grew up in a very safe neighborhood, right in a very safe valley, lots of neighborhood kids around, long summer evenings, when you're so far north like that, the sun doesn't set until much later in the day. And yeah, I remember being outside until almost 10 o'clock. It would stay light out until, yeah,
That's incredible.
almost 10 o'clock during those, spring, summer evenings. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time outside and just on very unofficial hikes, just exploring
Correct.
all these hills and bluffs all around me. They were like backyards.
So your parents are very outdoorsy, or was like more of your mom or your dad? Because it sounds like you did camping trips and just did a lot of like maybe picnics and like nature kind of like family spending.
you know, I would say my dad is more outdoorsy. My mom, not so much. She was more of an indoor girl. But back in the 90s, and just being in such a safe neighborhood, I was like sort of unsupervised. you know, Me and all the neighborhood kids, we were kind of left to our own devices and imagination. And yeah, I remembered,
Fascinating.
yeah, being outside all summer long with the neighborhood kids and just exploring the different creeks and streams. And yeah, there was like this old abandoned farmhouse nearby, and we were exploring there, building forts. I mean, running around barefoot,
Yes, yes.
different times. I don't think parents really are able to let their kids do that nowadays. But as far as more pivotal hiking moments, that didn't really happen until later in life, because I got busy with school. Once middle school happened, they kind of I feel they loaded on the homework. Starting in middle school, through high school, college. I lived in a big metro area in college.
Where did you go to college?
The University of Minnesota.
Oh, I think you
which
did
is
mention
like
that at the top.
dead
of the
center
pod.
right in the heart of Minneapolis.
Right on.
Yeah, and then I started doing photographing big weddings when I was in college, and all of those wedding venues were right in the city. So yeah, I had a very urban photography style and very urban lifestyle back then. So it wasn't until I was about 20, I want to say I was 25, I went to Kauai.
Oh, you went to Kauai.
Yeah, this was during the off season. It was like in March, and I went there for like 3 weeks. And my friend had a room in he was renting this house, and then there was various rooms that he was renting to other people. And so I took over a bedroom, and he had a bunch of friends on the island, and we were all roughly the same age. It was just this big group of people. We were all in our 20s. And
how fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really, really fun. Every day those people, they were so outgoing. They showed me all around the island. Every day we were doing something brand new all around Kauai. We were going up north and over to the west side and just all over doing different things, everything from snorkeling to kayaking to a bunch of different hikes every day.
Canoeing 2 parts of the beach to hike.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, this is so not Leave No Trace, but at one point we were all on this hike, and they brought these machetes, and they were like hacking their way through the bush to get to these secret beaches.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, and if a park ranger knew that we were doing that, they'd probably have a heart attack. But
I know Kauai, I haven't been personally, but I know that's really like the Jurassic Park feel.
it is.
Like dense jungle, so I totally can
Got
imagine
everything. Yeah.
very thick jungle. You have to machete your way through and make a path.
Yeah, they knew where all of these hidden beaches were, and yeah, it was so much fun. So
That is so cool.
that was really, and I don't know if this is kind of a tangent, but it is part of my photography journey. I was building my tourism photography portfolio. back then. So
Yes.
I was very much on a mission. I was photographing all these people kayaking and hiking and just getting all these photos of them doing all this lifestyle stuff.
I remember
And
this about your journey.
yeah,
Travel, tourism, photographer.
travel,
right?
tourism, photography, yeah. In this whole time, my entire adult life, I've been a wedding photographer. I've photographed weddings this whole time. But yeah, starting around 2013, 2012, all the way up until 2019, I was on two different paths in a way. Like I was still photographing big weddings, but I was also pursuing travel tourism photography. And I got hired for a handful of jobs by these tourism boards and magazines.
I remember this.
So yeah, and I still have that website up. I don't use it anymore, but I still pay for the website to be live or whatever.
What is that website link if you're still cool with sharing it?
JenniferWhalen.com.
Okay.
Yeah. But I haven't updated it in years. I mean, I think it ranks pretty low by
On
now.
SEO. And what inspired you to first pick up the camera?
Oh, that was way back in college. That was on my study abroad program when I was studying abroad in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had that experience.
Yeah, so I had a film camera, a Canon Rebel film camera back then. And there's something about film that makes me kind of hesitant to hit the shutter, to take the picture. I don't think I would be a photographer if we were still in the film days. It was like every time and throughout high school, I was taking these film photography classes and I was just not progressing. Every time I hit the button, it was like cha-ching, and I could just like see these dollar signs fly out of the camera. It was like really expensive to get film processed and all that. It's like really expensive. So I wasn't really using my Canon Rebel film camera too much during that time. But my roommate had a old digital camera that I don't know, it was like her extra one. She had two of them for some reason. So she gave me this old digital camera and yeah, away I went. I was having a blast taking pictures with that digital camera because I just felt freedom to take pictures of whatever I wanted because I could just delete whatever I didn't like. It was instant feedback. I could tell what I was doing wrong every time. I didn't have to go through this whole process of waiting for the film to come back. Yeah, this is a very unpopular opinion, by the way. Everyone has this nostalgia for film, and I was just so I hear a lot of people say I was just so excited to get the pictures back from the lab and see all the pictures. Not me.
Yeah.
It was always a disappointment getting the pictures
Gotcha.
back from the lab. I was like, oh, I didn't expose this one well, and this one has a big orange line through it.
Yeah, you're over analyzing it now. Sure.
Yeah, it's like, oh, these pictures they're kind of a disappointment. But with the digital, yeah, that's when I really, from there, it clicked. Not to, I guess all puns intended.
Did you find yourself when you were first picked up the camera really drawn to any particular kind of photography, like street photography, landscape, outdoor photography, or anything?
In the beginning, I was just taking pictures of anything and everything, buildings and trees and just, walking around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Once I started taking pictures of people, then it started to become more meaningful. Not that taking pictures of just landscapes and inanimate objects is meaningless, but yeah, once I started taking pictures of especially wedding couples, then it added this whole new layer of meaning. And that was really important to me. It still is. I was a fine art major, and although I really love painting and ceramics and stuff like that, I was having a little bit of trouble in college trying to attach meaning to it, just because it felt too much about me. And I really like the service aspect of wedding photography. I feel like those photos have longevity. I know that they have longevity. A lot of those pictures that I take, they're 100-year pictures.
These are forever moments, timeless.
Yeah, these couples are going to pass down these pictures to their kids and grandkids. I mean, they're going to be around for at least 100 years. When I was making art just for me, or taking pictures just for me, it felt, I don't know, it was like just for me. It didn't feel
fulfilling to you.
Yeah. I just feel like, well, I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I do feel like there's something about making your life a bit more service oriented and serving other people, like using your talents and knowledge or whatever you have to offer, offering that in some way that serves other people.
Love that.
Because otherwise I feel like it's so easy to just get really self-absorbed,
Like a lot of people here in Los Angeles in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a prison in a sense, and not to get too deep here, but I do feel like that's where a lot of mental illnesses can originate from, is just
100%.
getting too deep into yourself. For as long as I do photography, it'll always be in the service of other people. And I feel that way about traveling in the outdoors too. It's so gratifying to share these outdoor areas and locations with other people. Not to say that I don't enjoy nature and the outdoors and hiking alone just for myself, because I do. But if that's all I was doing, I would feel a little emptiness there. So
I feel you on that. It's like, it's healthy to have a mix.
yeah.
Do it in service for people, share these experiences with others, and then, also do your solo reflections, solo adventures. But I feel like you need a healthy balance, or else if you do too extreme of one, it's like you feel empty on the other side.
Yeah, and that, and really I should just speak for myself, because that's all I can do. Yeah, that's how it's got to be for me. I know that there's people out there, they could just hike all day long every day, and it's just all about them. They don't need to share it with other people. They don't need to, they don't want to, but yeah, that gets a little old and a little empty for me. So yeah, like these, going back to these waterfalls that I discovered.
This waterfall trip has clearly made a massive impression on you.
I was so busy this year. That was my one getaway.
I see.
But it's like, man, these are so beautiful. I need to bring couples here. I need to show people this, these.
I love how you just expressed yourself right now. That's how I feel with the Just Trek crew. I scout these places and go solo and experience it for myself. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to bring the rest of the crew here, or host a community group, like, so they can see the beauty of the world, or the beauty of nature in our own backyard.
I get that from you. So no, I totally, that's my immediate reaction,
Yeah, it's like a parallel feeling we have towards why we bring people to these places.
Yeah, I do feel like we share that.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing just more of your purpose and why behind your photography and wanting to be in service of others. I think that was really special that you just, all those things you just shared right now.
Yeah, I have a very strong why for why I do this. it's hard for me to, it would be hard for me to do a career if I didn't have a strong why. You know, I just,
Is there another strong why in addition to just wanting to be in service of others and have these like timeless memories that they can pass down to their
oh,
kids and
absolutely.
family?
Yeah, I can go into more in detail about that.
Yeah, share another like powerful why like behind this photography,
Yeah.
passion and career.
Yeah. So, in addition to wanting to, you know, share these beautiful places with couples, the elopement itself is very important to me. The small, intimate. So, okay, I should explain here. When the experiences or packages that I offer, I'd say about 50%. I'd have to count it up, but about roughly 50% of the couples elope, just the two of them, and then the other 50% will bring either their, you know, a group of 10 or less.
Okay.
I make sure that it's a group roughly of 10 or less, which means they're bringing their parents and maybe some siblings, maybe a best friend or something. But that's really important to me because, you know, a lot of people, just to get the elephant out of the room, you know, a lot of people they don't want to include their whole family and extended family, and they don't want that. They just don't want that. For whatever reason, they don't want to invite their aunts and uncles and cousins, and, you know, and the elephant in the room is, you know, a lot of people have dysfunctional families. They just don't want to go there with planning a big wedding and trying to, well, first of all, you cannot force people to act in a certain way. You cannot force them to behave. You have no control over other people's behavior. They're going to show up to their wedding how they're going to show up. They're going to do what they want. And that's really stressful to a lot of people. Everyone has a different reason for eloping. Some people, it's just, you know, a lot of it is about savings. They really just do not want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a big wedding.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, other people feel, you know, really connected to nature. They want it to be outside. Other people, they gravitate to these, you know, they're just so blown away by the photography. They really want photos in these epic places. And then other people, they're just so, oh man. Okay. I love the birds, but please.
Yeah, let us record it in a little bit of peace.
Yeah.
But we are in your home, birdies, so we will make do. But please go ahead.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten pooped on yet.
Yeah, don't manifest
happened,
that.
Yeah, well, right. That's happened to me at an elopement before.
No way. Are you serious? As you were taking the photo? And then what happened?
I had to... There was a bathroom nearby. We were in Carmel.
Oh, where's Carmel?
Up by Monterey.
Okay.
Yeah. If you haven't... So it sounds like you haven't been to Carmel.
I've been to Monterey, but I don't know where Carmel
is. Oh, you're
is.
missing out if you haven't been to Carmel.
Okay.
It is absolutely adorable.
Duly noted.
Yeah. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, there's all kinds of reasons why couples elope, but...
Oh, we're talking about poop on the head.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, we're talking about all
We will
kinds
get back
of
to that
things
real
here.
quick, but the bird pooped on your head during an elopement in Carmel. Then what happened?
There was a restroom nearby, so I could quickly wash it off. Yeah, it was... Yeah, that was
a moment.
That was a moment, yeah.
Was the couple like, oh my God, like what is their reaction?
Yeah, I don't know if they noticed. Like I felt it. Like I felt this, you know, cold spot.
Oh,
on
I
my
see.
Yeah, I don't think they were really...
Okay, it wasn't like they looked back at you and they're like, Jen, there's a massive piece of bird poo in your hair. And you're like, what?
Oh no, I felt it first.
Okay, it was more of a low-key moment. And you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom, take care of this.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank God, because usually we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's no bathroom nearby. We just happen to be
right.
like right near a bathroom where I could go get it off. Yeah.
These wilderness moments.
Yeah.
All right, now we could go back to your previous thought.
Oh yeah, no, so yeah, back to my why, and it's just such an incredible thing to offer this option to couples because for whatever reason they are eloping or keeping it really intimate, for lack of a better word, I guess. Yeah, I guess intimate, or eloping with family, I guess there's a couple different ways you could describe it. For whatever reason, they're keeping it small, and I know that it's just such a huge weight off of their shoulders to keep it that way and not to have this pressure of putting on this big performance. Oh, not to mention, a lot of people are just, they don't want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
They don't want all that attention on them from all these people all day long. They would feel crushed underneath the pressure of that. So yeah, there's just all kinds of reasons why couples elope, and it's just such an incredible thing that I'm able to, not just me, but all, other elopement photographers. It's just, I feel it's just amazing that this option exists because eloping it's always been a thing.
There's a certain stigma before in the past about
a negative
eloping, right?
Yeah.
It was negative, yeah?
It was, running off in secrecy, defying your parents, and, it was like this whole rebellious thing. It was really just like the courthouse or running off to Vegas or something.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think is like going to Vegas,
Yeah.
getting eloped, make it quick, done.
yeah, getting eloped, right. Yeah, really quick, not very intentional, kind of spur of the moment kind of thing. These adventure elopements are much more intentional. Sometimes, for some of the couples, they kept it a secret and they plan on telling everyone when they get back. But either way, they've been planning it for months. It's not this negative thing. It's very thoughtful. They've thought through what they want to do. They've given thought to the location that they want to elope in. They're very excited. Adventure elopements, as of right now, that's the best term for it. Maybe in the future, there will be a better term to describe what this is. But yeah, and by the way, for your listeners, I don't know if we need to define adventure elopements and weddings.
Yeah, this is actually the perfect segue, just for people to get clarification because we've already been talking about adventure elopements. You're touched upon the packages. Like, this will all tie in.
I can talk more about the packages too, but yeah, just to define it, because I guarantee a lot of your listeners have probably never heard of, they've heard of eloping, but this whole concept of adventure elopements, they most likely have never heard of this.
Yeah, let's definitely define it because I want to definitely talk about your company, Jennifer Whalen Weddings.
Yeah.
And all of that. So I think that would be perfect if you quickly define that.
Yeah, adventure elopements, you're combining the adventurous part and you're combining elopements. They're either just the couple is eloping, just the two of them, or they're inviting in for what I offer. They're kind of eloping with family or eloping with friends. Either way, it's a group of no more than 10 people. So they're keeping it really intimate. Many times they'll invite their parents. Parents really want to see the ceremony. Parents and siblings,
That makes sense, yep.
Yeah. And they almost always happen in national parks or state parks, national forests, the wilderness. They're always happening outdoors. You're spending all day long outside in the great outdoors, and there's usually never a venue involved. We're usually never going inside for any reason. We're not doing a reception or anything like that.
How freeing.
Yeah. So, I love this so much. It's like I have to pinch myself that I'm actually doing this,
You made it a whole career.
Yeah.
Jennifer Whalen Weddings.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Full time. So, Yeah, so hopefully that gives your audience a definition to it, because every couple so far they're the first ones in their family to be doing this. Adventure elopements started around, there were a couple photographers in Colorado and the Pacific Northwest that started doing these around, I'd say 2017 or so.
Oh, this is fairly recent.
Very recent, yeah.
So these were like the people pioneering like this concept
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Okay.
2016, 2017. It really gained momentum during the pandemic. And just with the power of social media, Pinterest, Instagram, I don't know if I want to call it mainstream yet, but it's definitely making its way into more of it's becoming more popular and a little bit more accepted. So, every parent is going to have their opinions and
gripes.
Yeah, I think certain parents are going to be a little more open to it. Other parents are going to be a little more horrified by it. But it is, it's not this rebellious, ugly, like negative thing.
It's more accepted.
Yeah, and I think once parents see the pictures that you get from this and they get a little bit more insight on what the experience is like, I think they're able to wrap their heads around it, a little bit more.
They're like, approved, after they see the photo. It's going to look like that? Approved.
It really depends on some parents. They have this picture in their mind about how their son or daughter is going to get married. And this picture has been developing for decades. And so I think that can throw some parents off. But all the parents that have come to the elopements and have witnessed the ceremony, I think for the most part, they've been blown away by the scenery, and they've been really excited. Wow. In the moment. They come around to it.
5-star rating.
Yeah.
Talking about your company, Jennifer Whalen Weddings, you started out as a wedding photographer, a traditional one.
Yes.
And eventually shifted into adventure elopements. Like, what just inspired that change?
Yeah, so you're right. I did big weddings for a decade, a little over a decade. I started in college, so yeah, my whole adult life has been, I've been in the wedding industry. And when I was photographing big weddings, I was just the photographer. And starting around 2000, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about my photography journey. Mm-hmm. Starting around 2012, I started building my travel tourism portfolio, where I was, taking pictures of people kayaking and hiking and, tourism related things and travel related things. And every so often I would get hired by different tourism boards to capture photos for the website and social channels. I would get hired by different magazines.
You want to shout out any of these tourism boards or clients? Because I know you had some pretty heavy hitters in there. Or do you want to keep that private?
Well, one of the big ones was Where Traveler.
Oh, that is a big one. Yeah. I know that magazine, yeah.
Yeah, so, and other tourism boards, gosh, a few in Minnesota, Taiwan.
Yeah,
I know. That seems kind of random.
Incredible.
Yeah, and then a bunch through Weird Travel, because Weird Traveler, they were like through a very big publication company. So they had different kind of offshoots from their company.
I see.
Yeah, so like I've been to like many wineries and photographed like so many people. Yeah, like the whole winery experience. Been up to Napa and Sonoma a bunch of times doing that. I was going to Hawaii for a handful of times, doing jobs over there. That was, tourism / a little bit more fashion related. So, yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was all over the place because it was all like travel tourism related, but yeah. So from about 2013 or 12 to around 2018 yeah, 19, maybe the end of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I was pursuing that. And with these adventure elopements, not to mention I was doing a lot of just personal travel during that time too. And yeah, life is kind of funny when you look back, because all of those, everything from all those weddings that I captured, all those couples that I was photographing all those years, all the tourism photos that I was taking, all of the personal travel, it all accumulated into adventure elopements.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it all converged
I love that.
into adventure elopements. It was like I could have never predicted back then, back in 2013 or 14 or whatever, that I would be doing this, because first of all, these didn't really exist. But yeah, it's like all those seemingly innocuous moments, converged, and it's like, well, it all makes sense now that
Yeah, back
I
then
do
you're like,
this.
you might have felt lost, or you're like, you're on all these different paths, and you're like, what is this for? And then you're like, oh wow, like this all culminated into this career that I didn't realize I was gonna make happen for myself.
Yeah, right. And not that I was like a lost person back then, but I do remember feeling like, oh, this tourism stuff is very different than these big weddings that I'm photographing. Like they are like two very different, because they're two different industries.
Totally.
They're two very different industries. Because you're working with art directors for the tourism stuff, and you're working directly with people for the wedding stuff. It's two very different things. And then the personal travel just felt, if you do a lot of personal travel, at some point it can feel a little self-indulgent. I'm a person that really likes to be inspired though. So all of that personal travel was, I really needed it. Plus I would dovetail a lot of that personal travel in with, gosh, there were just so many trips, so many, I just touched on a few clients or whatever, but now that I'm thinking back, there were
Endless, yeah.
Yeah, there were I did a lot of traveling where I would dovetail jobs in with the trip. Yeah. Yeah, different media companies that I would do jobs for, Yeah. So
I just took you down a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
I could tell by your like facial and body expression. They're like, oh, I've done a lot. I've
Yeah.
been to a lot of places.
And yeah, I feel my best when I'm when I feel like I have a forte, when I'm focused on kind of one main thing. I learned back then that I can't juggle. I don't like juggling two different websites. I don't like juggling two different Instagrams and like social media accounts. I like to just focus on one thing. So yeah, I'm more than happy doing the adventure elopements. I feel very focused and very sturdy with doing those.
And I feel that from you, and even just from observing, your content on Instagram and on your website, it really feels like you've really, really hyper focused on this, and you've really found yourself in it too.
Yeah, I'm not pursuing any more travel tourism stuff. Like I said, I haven't kept up with that website, in years. So yeah, and it's a lot of work just keeping one website and one Instagram going. Like I haven't posted on Instagram in well over a month, just because I've been traveling all over. Like October was a busy month. Yeah, editing like a maniac. So now that it's the off season, I can start posting to Instagram again.
I remember, like, when you would join us on group hikes, I was like, what do I tag? Do I tag both or just one of them? Jennifer Whalen photography or Jennifer Whalen weddings?
Yeah, I still have my personal Instagram account, which I have not posted to in years. Again, I don't want to, I'm kind of a private person in that way too. Yeah, I'm just not one to post all of my personal daily happenings.
Yeah. Went on this date, it went terrible, went on this other, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it would get a lot of views, but
Yeah, you're like, that's not who I'm not trying to put that out into the
yeah.
social media verse.
Yeah,
I respect that. And to go back to Jennifer Whalen weddings, I know you touched upon it a bit earlier in the conversation, but can you walk us through the kinds of packages or experiences you offer for adventure elopements? And
Oh yeah, I'd
also
love to.
share maybe the different parts of California and landscapes that you service your clients in?
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. So let's start with the locations. The main locations that I service, which I have like I have selected these locations because I don't service everywhere in California. So Yosemite and Big Sur, I get lots of requests for those locations. People they love Yosemite, they love Big Sur, they love the redwoods. I also service Catalina Island, Joshua Tree National Park, Sequoia National Park. I used to do a fair amount in Malibu, not so much anymore. I'm thinking about possibly adding Santa Barbara, but let's just,
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
yeah. I see potential for Santa Barbara, but let's just focus on the ones that I currently service. So my most popular package is the sunrise, sunset, and starry night package. And everything that you have, I don't know how many weddings you've attended or you've been in, but this package is very different than any wedding experience that you've ever been to. It's not like your typical wedding day. For sunrise, the whole point is to do the ceremony around sunrise. So couples are getting up in the dead of night and they're getting their hair and makeup professionally done usually. They don't have to, but I have a roster of professional hair and makeup artists that I, recommend to them. And they are more than familiar with, they also specialize in adventure elopements. So they know exactly what we're doing.
Wow,
they're also
very
getting
cool.
up in the middle of the night and, getting the brides all dolled up. And then we will meet at sunrise for the ceremony. And we're kind of killing two birds with one stone. On one hand, we're optimizing for the best light, the sun coming up over the mountains and that beautiful sunrise. It doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, it's the best.
And the park is usually pretty quiet during, of course you always have some people out and about for sunrise that want to capture it, some tourists, but you don't have those heavy noon crowds at sunrise. So we're optimizing for the least amount of people in the park. I care about the couple having as much privacy as possible for the ceremony because I want them to feel like they can speak their personal vows without any hesitation or without people standing nearby and listening in and,
Feel self-conscious.
Yeah, I feel so, yeah. So, because I want them to write their vows from the heart and, write meaningful vows. That's the whole point of getting away from this whole, 150, 200 people person wedding, listening to your vows. You feel like you have to kind of filter it and...
Oh, this is right. That's such a great point. It's that intimate, it's that small, or so small as just them two that they can really, oh wow, that just dawned on me how personal
they can really
these
open up
get.
to each other, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just you.
Yeah, maybe parents, but still, they can, they don't have to filter it
Yeah.
to a 150 people, they can really be
More vulnerable too.
more vulnerable. Yeah. So, yeah, it's important to me to make sure that they have privacy for their ceremony. And then we'll take some pictures during that, after the ceremony. If they have parents there, we'll take some group family photos. That's always important to get, classic pictures of the family. Just, nothing creative about it. They're just looking at the camera. We're, taking pictures of them with the beautiful scenery. After that really concludes the time spent with the parents and the guests. Parents can go back to their Airbnb or hotel or whatever, change and just enjoy the park for themselves the rest of the day. Myself and the couple will go around the park and get more pictures during that beautiful, morning light. At some point in the morning, we'll call it a morning, and we will take a big old break. That break lasts for, well, it depends on the time of the year. But yeah, it's a good few hours. And they can go back to their Airbnb or whatever, chill, have lunch, rest up, just spend some time together, just the two of them. Maybe they'll go back and have brunch with their family or something. But I'm not there. I'm not taking any pictures during that time. I encourage couples to also just take a nap.
Especially if they do the sunrise package.
Yes. Yeah. Take a nap. Also, these hair and makeup artists, they're so good. We've gotten so good at this that they have a package where they will get the bride dolled up early in the morning, and then they'll get her dolled up again after her nap, because everyone is that's the big thing about taking the nap. They're like, oh, I'm gonna squish my hair and smudge my makeup, and oh no, I'm not gonna look good for the sunset session. No. The hair and makeup artist will be there to do some touch-ups for the sunset session. So we will reconvene for the sunset session, and that will entail a hike or something to a beautiful sunset location. And again, the most important part of the day has already happened, the ceremony. There's not that stress or anything. So yeah, we're just having a good old time, getting some banger photos during sunset. It's the whole point is just to explore the park, have fun, get some cool pictures, and just spend the day together. That's one thing I noticed with those big weddings. The couple didn't really get to spend that much time together, just the two of them. They were so busy tending to the guests and wedding party and just everyone. So yeah,
true.
with these elopements, you really spend the whole day together.
And they actually remember this.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like, but to your point, like the big weddings, their mind is moving in a million different directions.
Yeah, it's like a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll spend sunset together, and then we'll go to a spot where hopefully we can get some starry night photos. And all of this is weather dependent, But here in California, especially in the summertime, it's pretty much, especially if we're in Yosemite or a place like that, or Joshua Tree, there's a very good chance that we'll get a clear sky and lots of stars. If you've been to Yosemite, you know how beautiful the stars are out there. I mean, it's just like layers of stars.
It's unreal.
You can like see the Milky Way with your naked eye. Faint of course, but yeah, we'll do some starry night photos, and then by that time, it's whatever, 9-10 p.m. and call it a day, and they go home and throw in a frozen pizza or something. And again, it's unlike any other. We're not doing a fancy dinner. We're in these remote locations. It's I don't encourage the fancy dinner afterward, just because it's a full day. They're gonna, I know that these couples are exhausted at the end of the day. So yeah, grab your favorite junk food and, pig out and, you know, it's,
That sounds so great.
yeah, I don't want brides doing this whole like, oh, I gotta fast on my wedding day. I gotta be as skinny as possible. No, no, no. Like, I want them to make sure they're hydrated and nourished and eating their favorite foods and
All the comfort food afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
And what would you say is like one of the most unique locations you photographed an adventure elopement at?
So hopefully this isn't a boring answer, but I think all the locations are unique. I mean, I feel like I've picked out the best locations in California. So like, I feel like I've picked out the most epic locations that California has to offer, and they're all very different. You know, Joshua Tree National Park is very different than Catalina and the Redwoods, and, you know, and Big Sur, and Yosemite is very different than all of
Very
those
true,
areas. Yeah. And I just think that's the beauty of California. We have a lot of different, like very unique and very diverse looking landscapes here. So hopefully that wasn't a boring answer, because
I mean, it speaks to all the gorgeous and diverse landscapes we have in California. So,
yeah, I mean, you have everything from these massive sequoia trees to, you know, island vibes out in Catalina Island. So it's like, yeah, you really have your pick. I think California is the best state to have your elopement.
hell yeah, that's why you're a California elopement photographer. And speaking more on like the planning and the logistics, you know, you're not just photographing them. Like when I was browsing through your website, like there's experiences created. There's very highly intentional curation
Oh,
and
yeah,
planning and timelining.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so I'm ordained, so that has come in so handy for all of these locations, because we're in pretty remote areas, especially for the couples that have
That's right.
yeah, the two-person elopements. I can, after they speak their personal vows to each other in exchange of the rings, I can legally pronounce them married and sign their marriage license. And that way they don't have to get another vendor involved and the logistics of meeting up with them and having them, it simplifies it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when there's guests involved, like parents or siblings or friends or whatever, then I do think that for the sake of their experience, I think it's better to have a family member or some hired officiant perform the ceremony. I mean, I have done it both ways. But for those two-person elopements, it's been so rare that when a couple is just eloping, the two of them, that they've hired an additional officiant to perform the ceremony. I think that's maybe happened once.
Jennifer Whalen, the one-stop shop.
Yeah. Really, I mean,
How smart of you to get
kinda,
licensed.
you know, I can't do hair and
ordained.
makeup, but
Yeah.
nor do I want to. That's getting into
That's a whole other realm.
a whole thing. Yeah, yeah. I can't even do my own hair and makeup. You know, so
You look fine, Jen.
yeah, thank you. But yeah, and then as far as planning, I'm very, very hands-on with the planning too, because these couples have no idea what they're doing. They're the first ones in their family to do this elopement. Yeah, I help get them set up with their permits, give them all that information. I tell them how, when, and where to get their marriage license upon arrival in California. I do the timeline planning. Yeah, I have a very detailed checklist of things that they need to plan for and bring so that they're prepared. I give them all the information that they need to come with, you know, do this elopement. And so yeah, I'm much more than just being hired as a photographer. Unlike when I did the big weddings, I would, you know, the date was set, the venue was set, you know,
You got the wedding planner already.
yeah, they got the wedding planner.
Yeah.
It was just up to me to make sure that I was, you know, taking photos within the venue grounds to capture the best, you know, make it as beautiful as possible through photography. Yeah, this is a whole lot more, you know, I am like the the vendor.
Like I mentioned earlier, like you are that experienced curator, you're that planner, on top of being the photographer and capturing those timeless moments. And since you're doing these adventure elopements out in nature, the great outdoors, the wilderness, I'm sure some unexpected things have happened with the weather or maybe the environment changing. Like, can you speak to any of the adventure elopements and how you had to like navigate any unexpected like wilderness moments per se?
Yeah, there's certain locations like Big Sur. That road, Highway 1, PCH, can close for whatever reason at any time because of mudslides. Like big chunks of the road can just fall out and fall into the ocean. That road is built right into the cliff, and parts of it are just like hanging off the cliff. So these adventure elopements, for as many positive things as they have to offer, it's not meant for everyone. If someone has a more rigid personality where they're uncomfortable with the plan changing due to road closures or the whole area becoming inaccessible, it might be too much for them to, because there have been times where Big Sur has become inaccessible. There was one time where we couldn't access Yosemite. We had to pivot and go somewhere else. Yeah, wildfires, it kind of depends on what the location is and what season we're in, because different locations can have, become more susceptible to environmental disasters, and so all of these elopement locations, I always have a backup location that we pivot to in case the area becomes inaccessible. Thankfully, this past October with the government shutdown, Yosemite was wide open. Everything was running seamlessly. From what I understand, the Yosemite Conservancy stepped in. And I'm still not quite sure how conservancies work, but the park rangers were out patrolling things. The tours were happening. The bathrooms were getting cleaned. Everything was happening as usual.
Wow.
Everyone was behaving themselves for the most part, from what I could tell. And we didn't have to pivot to a different location. But, things can happen, especially out here in California. Wildfires can happen in very unexpected locations.
Like Los Angeles?
Yeah, and even there was a wildfire. Yeah, there was a wildfire that didn't get very much national exposure, but there was a wildfire in Malibu that happened a month prior in December. Oh gosh, what was it called?
You're talking about the wildfire prior to like the historic wildfire crisis that we experienced.
I want to say, was it the Franklin fire?
I think it was the Franklin fire. That rings a bell.
Yeah, it happened
in near
Malibu.
Pepperdine in Malibu area.
Pepperdine, yep. And that happened just like, I want to say a month before the Palisades fire and Eaton fire. And that happened the morning of the elopement. The couple was woken up by the fire department driving down PCH, announcing through their microphone that everyone had to evacuate.
Oh,
so they were
God.
woken up in the dead of night, like I don't know, 2, 3 a.m., 1 a.m., 4 a.m. I don't know when they were woken up, but when I woke up to like a bunch of missed calls and messages from them, and saying that they had to evacuate and Malibu was on fire. So that morning we had to change and pivot locations. So we went down to Palos Verdes, and
great backup location, by the way. Stunning area.
Yeah. So really beautiful ocean views, really nice cliff sides, beautiful beach down there. So it all worked out, and they handled it like absolute champs. But again, that was, they had the personalities that were capable of handling last minute changes like that.
I call Palos Verdes mini Big Sur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
really
got
is.
that dramatic, there's certain views where it's like, this is really stunning. So yeah, it's very much a personality decision to do this stuff. I would never recommend this to someone who is just trying to save money, because if they are the kind of person that becomes very uncomfortable with a spontaneous change of plan, that would ruin their day. They should. Well, I think we all learned with the pandemic and the sudden closures that nothing in life is guaranteed. You know, even if you book the most secure venue that you can think of, like whatever country club or whatever, like corner of the Ritz or whatever, you know, like even if you think in your mind that this is like a for sure bet, you know, I think COVID taught us all that nothing is, anything can change. I try to educate people while I'm doing these planning consultations with them too, that they got to stay open-minded about this whole thing too, that plans can change, locations can shut down, and just they got to be mentally prepared for that. So yeah, we talk about the backup location. I don't go super into detail because I still want them to get really excited about their first initial location. But yeah, I always try to tell couples the most important thing that we're doing on your wedding day is you getting married. You know, the most important thing is actually not the location. The most important thing is that you're getting married, and either way, it's going to be an adventure.
I definitely want to make it a little lighter now and chat with you about some other topics. As you know, I know you've listened to a lot of the episodes on the Just Right podcast, but always on this show, we want the listeners to discover new places to explore that our guests have done. So I'd love to know, what would you say are your top 3 trails in California at this very moment, and why is each your favorite?
Okay, so I'm going to hopefully list a couple of trails that your listeners haven't gone on. And I'm going to list, well...
Doesn't have to be in any particular order as well.
Yeah, I would say just to make sure that everybody can do these trails. First, highly recommend the Simpson Reed Trail up in the northern redwoods.
Simpson Reed, okay.
Yeah, up by, you know, and it's like a very easy peasy trail. Everyone can do this trail. Anyone of any physical... I know that your listeners are probably a little bit more hardcore.
Oh, no, they like their shorter hikes, nature strolls, so I'm happy that you're giving options that are very inclusive and accessible.
But yeah, it takes you around this loop of just the most gorgeous, unworldly redwood trees. There's all this moss growing on them, big ferns. I mean, these trees are like, you know, at least 20 feet in diameter.
Wow.
They're absolutely massive, and it's like every single tree is like that around this loop. And yeah, all these moss covered bridges, and it's just it's an unbelievable area. And that's just a good little trail to get just, you know, familiar
good introduction
with
to the area.
Yeah, and then you can go on much longer trails in the area. But yeah, there's so many areas. I mean, I haven't been to all the state parks up there, because the Redwoods National Park and state parks, it's all kind of like one thing. They kind of...
It's a state park and a national park?
Yeah, it's all, they kind of lump them all together.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of massive redwoods up there. Another trail that I never get sick of, that I take a lot of couples on, is the Taft Point Trail up in Yosemite. I really love that trail. Is a really great sunset.
I still have to do that one. I wanted to go because of your photos.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I think that's Taft Point. And I know that's like not a, you know, that's not like a sufferfest. It's like accessible to do that hike, right?
Yeah. It's, you know, it's not, again, that one isn't for everyone. Simpson Reed Trail, you could do, if you have like a parent or grandparent, even in like a wheelchair or something. I mean, you could probably do that one. It's not paved, it is a dirt trail, but you know, very flat. Taft Point, you got to be in a little bit better shape, but still, it's very doable.
Was that like a 3 to 4 mile hike or something like that?
Round trip is, I want to say just under 3 or maybe a little over 3.
Okay, that sounds just about right.
Yeah, it's
Perfect
a
length.
nice little, yeah, perfect length, especially for elopements. Yeah, beautiful sunset area. I mean, you could do it in the daytime too. It's still really pretty, but yeah, no mosquitoes
No
on that trail.
mosquitoes.
Yeah, you know, it's
That's
like
number one.
I've been on hikes where, you know, and no gnats
Ooh,
either.
that's a good point.
That's a big one. I've been on hikes. I've been on a few hikes in Yosemite where it's like this swarm of gnats, you know, about to fly into all of my openings here,
Oh my
like,
God,
you
yeah,
know, my
for
mouth
sure.
and my nose. It's my eye. It's like,
Your ears.
yeah, it's like I gotta wear a wedding veil or something over my face in order to. So yeah, no
Wedding veil
gnats.
bug nets.
Yeah, right. So it's just a really beautiful hike. Half of the hike is covered with trees. There's this really bright green moss growing on the trees and in a section of it. And you don't think of moss when you think of Yosemite because you assume that it's too dry. But yeah, there's this beautiful moss growing on some of the trees. So yeah, it's not a very long hike, but you get a lot of different views. A lot of, you know, there's some diversity going on, even in that short distance.
And what's a third for you?
A third is it's a Trans-Catalina trail, and I have not done the whole trail. I would love to do it someday. But if you can just get out there and start in Two Harbors and hike down to Shark Harbor and stay the night, camp there the night. I mean, you wouldn't have to camp there. You could make it there and make it back in one day. But it's stunning, especially in the springtime. It's so green. You're just, okay, to the east, to the west, you got the ocean. And then it's just this beautiful green, hilly landscape. And you got palm trees and you got, you know, and that's a little bit more strenuous. It's more of up and down.
Yeah. I saw there's bison in Catalina.
There's bison.
What in the world? How did bison end up there?
I think they brought him in for a movie back in the day.
That would make sense because I remember seeing content. I was like, what in the world? Bison are on an island?
Yeah. And now there's quite a few of them. I saw bison they weren't on the trail, but yeah, they were a little bit in the distance. And then once I got to the campsite, I saw these big mud pies from the bison. I was like,
Ooh.
yikes, I hope I don't wake up to in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom and then there's a big bison
Oh, Lord.
there. And yeah, I did have a moment in the middle of the night. I was like, I really have to go to the bathroom. I hope, I hope there's no bison out there.
No
when
surprises.
I'm peeing and I was like, I remember like looking in the distance like, oh, is that a bison? Like, no, that's just a bush. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that the bison could just come into the campground. I don't know if they fenced it off. I don't think so. I don't know how that, yeah. But anyway, there are bison there and they're big. And I don't know how aggressive they are. I know you don't want to get too close to them.
Just
I don't want to
pet
get
them.
too close to them. Yeah.
The number one rule is just don't pet the damn animals.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a beautiful hike. It inspired me to want to do the entire Trans-Catalina Trail. I just,
That's awesome.
I haven't yet. It takes a few days.
Yeah, it takes like around a week to complete. Because
Yeah.
I know that the Trans-Catalina Trail is just this epic backpacking route that a lot of guests have actually done or mentioned. And it just still astounds me that, if you get tired of the California mainland, you got these islands like Catalina Island. I just went last year to Channel Islands National Park for my birthday, just as a day trip. I fell in love with that national park, that island. Like,
I've been out there too.
I just love that we have these diverse opportunities of places to explore, like Catalina, Channel. I'm sure there's some other random islands out there that we're not as familiar with.
Yeah, Channel Islands doesn't get near the exposure that Catalina does.
That's good. Less people.
Yeah, I don't like, the only thing about Channel Islands I don't enjoy, I did not like the boating experience out there. They have these small little old boats. I got kind of motion sick on the boat. Catalina has, like, if you're susceptible to motion sickness, which I feel like it has to be pretty bad for me to get motion sick. Catalina has much faster, bigger boats
Boat vessels,
that
yeah.
that can handle the waves.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because the Santa Barbara Channel, which is the waterway that goes from, Ventura or Oxnard, where the harbors are, all the way to one of the 5 islands, like in Channel Islands. It's a very, although it's very majestic and has incredible marine life for the whales and the dolphins, and it's full of it. It's a very like also dangerous water channel. It's very choppy waters, so I'm
Yeah.
not surprised like if it's you're riding a boat that's like, it'll get you there, but how's that experience going to feel like, right? If it's not a bigger vessel that can handle the swells and the waves, because yeah, that water channel's a notorious water channel. It can be very dangerous at times.
Yeah, the experience of getting out to Catalina on the Catalina, those boats are, it's just so much better. So, not that I'm trying to promote Catalina Island, because I think that people should go out to Channel Islands because it's completely natural. It's California,
Yeah,
all completely native. There's no palm trees out there. It's all native California vegetation.
so much indigenous species of plants are still there,
Yeah.
and wildlife because it's untouched.
There's no bison, there's no palm trees, there's no, funny things going on out there.
I didn't see any island fox. That was the one thing for my trip I was so upset about. It was my birthday trip too. I was like literally trying to find the island foxes, but I think it was because I was doing like a much more like remote 10-mile route, and I wasn't hanging around the picnic grounds because I know that's where they
Oh,
are
maybe.
congregating. But still, like, I thought I'd come across one in the trails, or I know they're really small, so maybe they were just well camouflaged.
Yeah, it could be. I'm trying to think if I saw one. Nothing.
See?
Yeah, nothing stands in my memory, so I probably didn't.
All right, let's recap real quick. So you said Simpson Reed Trail in Redwood State Park, way up north.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Trans Catalina Trail. You did a section of it in Catalina Island, which is what, like about an hour ferry ride from like Los
Roughly.
Angeles or Long Beach area,
Yeah.
and Taft Point in Yosemite. I
Yep.
love that. That's a great selection.
Yeah, I tried to pick stuff that was like, one in Northern California, one in Central California, one in Southern California, and also like least strenuous to more strenuous, top to bottom. Like,
Yeah.
the first one I mentioned, least strenuous, Taft Point, medium, and then the one out to Shark Harbor on Catalina, like a little bit more.
Yeah, I like how you built that up. You give some options for people that are just trying to get out into nature, not trying to do something too strenuous, and then you can up it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, that's the thing, because for everyone who, I feel like there's a lot of people that are, they appreciate the outdoors, but they might be a little intimidated by it at first. I mean, who wouldn't be,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to start small with this kind of thing. And because I know there have been some hikes where I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I
Correct.
showed up kind of unprepared with my, just with everything, and you can't really experience it fully if you're showing up super unprepared.
Unprepared and not in physical shape. Like,
Yeah.
as you know, like Just Trek Crew, we hike privately in more of the challenging hikes, challenging mountains.
Yeah.
And, it's the worst feeling if you invite someone, they have the energy, enthusiasm to tackle this hard hike, but you didn't prep them or let them know, like, hey, you need to do some training stuff. Because now if they show up to Mount Baldy with no experience or not training at all, they're going to come away with it with a very miserable, negative experience, and then they might not want to go hiking ever again.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
what I always try to avoid when we bring out like newer hikers or people that are trying to get into the more challenging routes. Like, build in increments, start them off like easy,
so you don't
moderate,
traumatize them.
hard. There's so many stories of people I've met on the trail or friends of friends are like, oh yeah, I'm good on the hiking thing, and then I dig a little deeper. I'm like, did you have a certain experience? They're like, oh yeah, one time my friend invited me to, I think it was like Mount Baldy, and they didn't really tell me much about it. I didn't know it was going to be this whole like 8-hour day and it was going to be super steep. I'm like, they didn't mention anything? Like, not really. I'm like, that is not a good friend.
Yeah, it's
Or not
it's like a unkind thing to do, and I don't even know if they're. Some people may not even realize that
I was
they're
gonna say that too. They may
not
not have known.
properly like preparing people for what they're getting into. That's a big one. And by the way, I'm not someone that's afraid to call it quits or call it a day. If there have been a few hikes, Angels Landing up in Zion.
Oh.
Yeah,
You turned around on that one?
I turned around. I didn't feel confident with my footwear, and
Was this in the middle of the change you turned around, or right before did you decide to turn around?
right before the chains. Yeah, and it was winter, and I was like, I'm not prepared. I trust myself to come back here at some point in the future and finish this. I don't like. There's a couple things that sorry, I'm like answering a question that you didn't even ask here. I'm just going
keep talking.
off on like a little tangent here, but I'm very big on if you're not prepared, or if the person that I'm with is not feeling it, if I'm not feeling it, if for whatever reason we didn't come prepared or we're getting in a little over our heads or something, I'm in no way afraid to just call it a day, turn around, head back. I trust myself to come back at a later date and more prepared or whatever and finish the trail.
Ooh.
It's not a once in a lifetime missed opportunity. It just isn't. If there's a will, there's a way to finish it at a later date. Even if it's this big, even if you build it up and it's this big destination thing and you've been planning it for months and months, still, I don't care. If someone isn't confident, if I'm not confident, if something feels a little off, I have no problem. I don't care how much time or money has been invested. It's not worth it. It's A-okay to call it a day. Like, my self-worth isn't wrapped up in whether or not I make it to the top. It's just maybe once upon a time, but actually I don't think I've ever been like that when it comes to hiking and and making it to the top or the finish line or whatever. Another thing that I'm unwilling to do that I just is leaving someone behind. Like, oh, I'm hiking at a faster pace, is it okay if I go ahead? And no splitting up. I am so against that. I don't recommend anyone to do that.
So you're saying you're the most ideal hiking partner. I love it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I'd be ideal for everyone.
But I'm just saying I love the thought process and the mindfulness behind the two things you just said, because the whole splitting up thing, a lot of search and rescue teams actually say, like, a lot of the rescues happen when people separate from their groups.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
They actually say that.
Yeah, that does. I didn't know that. But that doesn't surprise me. I am just there is just no reason why you got to split up, again.
Buddy system, at least have a buddy system. One other person
One other person, yeah. If you're in a big group and like a group of 10 or something and like 5 of you want to walk a little faster or something, the
that's
other 5
different.
remain. Yeah, but if you're just hiking with one other person and you're splitting up and no. So again, I trust myself to come back at a later date, finish it. And you know what? Even if I don't complete the hike ever in my life, it's whatever. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need to. We all have our little bucket lists or whatever, but yeah,
You're not so obsessed with completing it or reaching the top. That's not why you're really out there. You're just out there to be present in nature and to appreciate taking the views.
Yeah, if I attempt something and I don't finish it, it's not going to bother me if I don't finish the hike. I'm absolutely not going to break away from the other person. I don't want that person breaking away from me either. And, have this like obsessed mindset of making it to the top or whatever.
We call that summit fever, the obsession of reaching the top, but no
Okay.
matter what the cost, ignoring any
That's
signs.
a good term for it.
It's the most perfect term.
Yeah. So I don't have summit fever. I don't.
That's great.
I think a lot of that is like maybe tied up, whether those people realize it or not, maybe it's a little tied up in their self-worth or whatever. They just get really fixated on,
Very David Goggins. Embrace the suck. Stay hard.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah.
I get it, but
I do too.
We're not always out there for that reason.
It's not worth. He treats everything like a life or death situation, like if my life was on the line, then maybe, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is recreation.
Yes.
Guys,
it's not always hardcore. It doesn't always have to be a hardcore sport. And I just want to say, more to your point, I always say the redemption's always sweeter, and a successful hike is one where you get home safely.
Yeah.
Not you push yourself and now you got injured, or now it's search and rescue, but you finished it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you wouldn't have finished it if you had search and rescue, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, it's we want to always be growing and pushing ourselves or whatever, making the most of it. But yeah, and maybe that's just come with age too. But you know what? I was like this in my 20s too. The Angel's Landing hike, that was in my 20s. I just, yeah. And there's been other hikes too where I'm like, this is going to be great at a different moment. This is not the right moment.
Thank you for sharing these stories, because these are the other stories that need to be heard. Turning around, being safe. Oftentimes we have a lot of guests on the show, completed a lot, but I think it's also the stories on the flip side where it's like, no, I didn't feel comfortable. Also, I was with this partner, I didn't want to leave them. We just decided to turn back, because those stories are very important to hear. It's not always about reaching the end and reaching the top, and that's what success looks like. Everyone's summit is different on any given day. It's not always your summit is the top. Your summit could be going halfway and getting home safely and stuffing your face with pizza and a burger,
Yeah.
And, we spoke about favorite trails in California. You're also a very avid traveler. You want to share a specific trip or maybe an international hike that was a top favorite, or one that really was super memorable to you?
So as far as international travel,
a country that just blew your mind away, or that you still want to return to but haven't.
I would say Switzerland was pretty incredible for hiking. There was a trail that I forgot the name of the trail. It was actually really kind of hard to find. Eventually we did find it, but it was over by Interlaken. Oh, this was going on 10 years ago now, so I've forgotten the name of the trail, but it was quite dramatic. I mean, the landscape was unbelievable. You hike along this ridge, and below you is these beautiful alpine lakes, and then to the other side was this really beautiful, these pastures and other beautiful mountains. And yeah, and then on the way, it randomly started hailing on the trail. So yeah, we were booking it, trying to get under some sort of tree, some sort of cover. Yeah, that was really unexpected. But yeah, I would like to go back to, I'm really looking forward to going to the Italian Dolomites at some point.
I want to go out there. It looks unreal.
Yeah.
Those granite landscapes.
Yeah, I've done a lot of traveling, but at the same time, the world is so big that, I would say Iceland really stands out as far as, every day was just something outdoors. We were going to like these new locations. We did a whole road trip circumventing the island.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like something new every, you drive a little bit and something new every few hours. I don't necessarily want to go back to Iceland or repeat that, just because there's still so much that I want to see elsewhere. So I'm not too big on repeating places abroad that I've already been to. Maybe later in life, after I've done all the things, then I'll have some favorites that I want to go back to.
Yeah, make your rounds already.
Yeah. But yeah, really excited to explore the Dolomites at some point. There's no concrete plan to do that yet, but also Patagonia is on my list. This isn't international, but North Cascades National Park, I really want to go there.
I've been hearing that a lot on the podcast. North Cascades is the wildlife out there, and just the dramatic alpine landscape is pretty surreal.
Yeah, I'm excited to at some point see that. Glacier National Park, I'd love to go there. Again, not international, but I'd say as far as outdoor hiking areas, yeah, Dolomites and Patagonia area.
You said Switzerland. I'm definitely going to go next year, because I know that Red Bull Dancer Style, the World Finals, is going to be in Switzerland now. They announced it at the World Finals
did
here
they? Okay.
in Los Angeles. So, yeah, because I got to attend the event and got to catch up with Dan, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Shout out to Daniel Zhu, founder of Stance. I will be attending, and maybe you might too.
Yeah, and Red Bull headquarters is in Salzburg, Austria.
Oh, that's right. That's next door.
Yeah, kind of right. Yeah, right next door. I'm sure there's beautiful hiking and everything in Austria too. And this is like a really weird thing. So I've gotten really into European history,
Okay.
and this has nothing to do with the outdoors or elopements or anything like that. But just as like a side interest, I've become kind of a history nerd.
Okay, right on.
Over the past couple of years. Yeah, I'm like endlessly entertained by like the high Middle Ages and in the Renaissance era, and just all European history is like
Very cool.
pretty fascinating. So when I go to Europe, I love being right in the city, and it's like every city is like this walking history museum, and just, really nerding out, going on all the history tours. Just like me and the boomers, like on these history tours. Yeah, I'm like kind of dorky about it. But Europe has a lot to offer in terms of outdoor nature, hiking as well. But just as like a side thing, so Red Bull, the bull part actually has a historical significance. It's not just a random name that they came up with. Like, it has a historical significance in Salzburg. During a siege, in order to make the enemy, in order to appear that Salzburg has this big old castle, fortified castle, and there was this invading tribe at one point, and they were holding out, during a siege, and the people in the castle wanted to make it appear as if they had plentiful food, and like holding out on the siege wasn't going to be worth the time and effort for this invaders. Mm-hmm. So every day, by the way, they only had one bull, and which is not enough to support a whole castle full of people, residents. But every day they painted the bull different colors, and then would walk the bull along the castle grounds, so that the invaders could see. And every day it appeared that they had a different bull. So yeah, one day the bull,
different color each day.
Yeah, different color each day. Red, blue, or not blue, like black or whatever, or whatever. And so at some point these invaders gave up, They're like, oh, this,
Wow.
they have all this livestock, it's going to be a long time before they run out of food. The siege is not worth it. So they left.
That is
And
awesome. What a wild piece of history.
yeah, this is only for Red Bull fans would this be, I don't even know who would find that interesting. I thought it was fascinating because Red Bull is kind of like a seemingly random name, but no. It has historical significance. And then, for it being the capital, the headquarters right there in Austria.
No, I love that you
Or
brought that up
Salzburg, yeah.
because a lot of the people that listen to the show are also like history buffs.
Oh, are they?
They love learning about the history of the land, the structures. So I mean, that's all in alignment.
Yeah, I mean, European history, that's definitely more of a niche.
I forgot to add that to your title.
Yeah.
Jen, historian buff.
Yeah,
European historian buff.
Yeah, I mean, it's so random, and it's so far from the outdoor scene, and it just has nothing to do with weddings or anything really. It's
No,
just
but
like
it's
a total.
part of your interest in who you are.
Yeah, it's just like a total side hobby or whatever. So.
No, thank you for sharing that about you. This show is obviously about the outdoors and nature and adventures, but it's about the different interests and passions of the guests. So I really look at it as like a whole encompassing, perspective on the guests. And actually, in regards to yourself, Jen, do you have a particular dream landscape you might want to have your own adventure elopement if you did decide you wanted to do that with the future hike hubby? Well, it doesn't have to be a hike hubby, but future hubby.
Yeah, I definitely know that it's going to be an all-day adventurous elopement. It's going to be just the two of us. I love my parents, but no, just the two of us. And I don't, I have yet to find a groom, but, and I don't want to be one of those people that plans my whole wedding like without the groom,
How crazy for you. Like you do this for everyone else, but it's like, do I want to do this for myself?
Oh, I definitely want to do this for myself.
Oh, okay.
It's just, it's going to be an all-day adventurous elopement, just the two of us. The location is yet to be determined. I'm sure we'll decide on that together. It'll be very similar to what I offer. It'll be some sort of hiking involved, little
explorations here and there.
Yeah, it'll be something very much along the lines. As far as the exact location, no, I don't have anything in mind yet. That's kind of the piece of it that I'm excited to decide on together. Yeah, I really don't want to be one of those people one of those brides that just takes the liberty of planning everything.
It has to be here. It has to be like this.
Yeah, I really do think that part of the fun of planning this elopement is doing it together and really getting excited about it together. So yeah, that's all yet to be determined. Like I said, I need to find a groom to make this all happen.
Let's get there first.
Yeah, let's get there first.
All you eligible bachelors out there, great catch, okay? Just saying. Just saying. And transitioning from your work with Jennifer Whalen Weddings, you've joined the Just Trek crew in many local hiking adventures here in Southern California. Like, how do you just enjoy hiking with our group, being a part of the crew, and any particular trails or experiences that you always kind of reminisce on or really enjoyed?
I really okay, so not to answer this in the latter part first, but I like the night hikes. I think those are so fun. I think night hiking is so much fun. It's definitely fun in a group. It's just fun to do. I like the Just Trek hikes because, well, either way, even in the daytime, it's a group setting. Even though you have the core crew people that usually show up every hike, there's still new people showing up. So yeah, it's a great way to be social. It's, if you don't feel like talking to anyone, you can just hike alone. If you feel like being social, you can make friends and hike with them. It's either way, you got all the logistics figured out. I don't have to worry about getting lost or anything.
Just show up and have a good time.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to explore new parts of Los Angeles that you've never explored before. It's a great way to meet new people, be social. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you for always inviting me. I know that I haven't been able to come on all of them because I'm busy going around the whole state, you know, working and stuff. But yeah, now that it's the off season, I'm excited to join more.
Jump back into it.
Yeah, and there's something about the night hiking that's just like extra fun, you know.
I agree. It's very niche.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole nother layer to the adventure. You're wearing your headlamps. It feels a little spooky, but since you're with the group, you're like, oh, this is actually like pretty unique and really cool. Like, I agree with you. The night hikes is, especially if you can do a night hike that is adjacent or very close to the city. Oh my goodness.
Halloween.
Halloween, like the city night lights, if the trail is next to it, is just, it doesn't look real. You're like, whoa, this is a completely different experience.
Yeah. It's I think we should add a few more spooky stories, maybe some ghost stories.
Okay.
Along the way.
I'll do some research. I know Griffith Park, you know, there's a huge culture of community night hikes at Griffith Park because it's close to the city.
Oh.
It's gorgeous at night.
It's really stunning. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Those, especially those LA city lights, they twinkle because of all the pollution, and it looks, you know, the science of it is kind of gross, but it looks magical.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the most majestic things it's a terrible reasoning why it looks so beautiful. The smog.
Yeah, right.
You know, you've embarked on a lot of trails with us. You know, you did Cave of Munich, Echo Mountain. I think that was one of the night hikes, sunset hikes.
Yeah.
All those ruins up there, gone, all burnt, all completely gone.
Really?
Even the structure at Inspiration Point, which is further up.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been on
it was
endless.
right in that area. Yeah. Okay.
And then most recently, I think the last time I saw you, you were able to attend a very special one, the 6-year anniversary of the Just Trek crew, which is just wild to even say that out loud. Like, because, you know, to make this more full circle, you know, we met way before Just Trek, like, because you were familiar with me through the dance world, the hip hop breaking community. And I was a part of dance crews or breaking crews. And now I have a hiking crew. So it's just like so wild how it just all kind of unfolded, and for you to be there.
Just Rock turned into Just
Trek.
Yeah.
There you go. See, you know, you've seen the transformation. Were you pretty shocked, like, when you saw me going down like this, like, outdoor transformation, like, hiking lane? What was your perspective when you noticed that?
Yes, it was very unexpected. Very unexpected.
I felt that of myself too.
Yeah. Back when I met you, you were a hardcore city boy, I feel. You were very, you know, the urban lifestyle.
Always out and about.
Yeah. I mean, I think you still have that energy, you know? I don't think just because you've transitioned into more of the outdoor space, it's not like you've moved out into the middle of nowhere and have become a recluse or anything.
Sure.
You're still, you know, highly motivated and energetic and all those good things a lot of city people have. But it was very unexpected.
I love that.
Yeah, because
I like that, actually.
Yeah, you know, because it's not your typical transition.
Yeah, now look, I'm an outdoor podcaster.
Yeah.
That was very unexpected. Like, yeah, I went from like organizing parties and events and the dance world and nightlife, and now that was all very like underground.
Yeah.
You know, this is very above ground, very outdoors.
Yeah.
So it's like a completely different world, a way different space. So, but I think a lot of things translated well, at least from the, you know, organizing and hosting standpoint.
Absolutely.
Into what Just Trek now is, which is the LA-based hiking group and the outdoor podcast. So just like how you had things converge into your journey.
Same with you.
With Adventure Elopements, this is where my journey ended up.
Yep. Yeah. You know, it is funny when you look back on things. It's like, oh, all these previous skills, not that they're random when you're young, but yeah, they all kind of tend to merge at some point.
They become complementary into what you currently do.
Yeah, because what you do takes a lot of organization and social skills, and that outgoingness about you definitely transitions into what you do now. It takes a pretty outgoing person to organize all of these events, and because some of those hikes, there's quite a few people that show up.
Yeah, I haven't done as many of the big group community events, group hikes this year, but you've been to some of them and you've seen them on social media where we're like 40, 50, sometimes
Yeah,
50 plus deep, and that's, although it can be very exciting and meet a lot of new people, it's on the host and the organizer, it's a lot.
especially the collabs.
Oh yeah, the
With
collaboration ones.
Yeah, with the other hiking groups, those end up being like
Madness.
a monstrous crowd. Yeah, like you're
Yeah.
taking the whole club on a
Field trip.
field trip. Yeah, but yeah, I would say it was a very good transition for you, very needed, and just a whole new, like you said before, it introduces you to a whole new part of Los Angeles that you didn't even know
I had no clue.
existed.
Yep.
And you get to see a whole nother side of Los Angeles, all the natural parts of it, not just the urban, speakeasies or whatever, like the,
I always joke about this because when you knew me, I could connect the dots of everywhere to go in the city. Go to this speakeasy, go to this restaurant, go to this rooftop, to this other speakeasy. But now I do the same thing, but in the outdoors.
I know.
I'm like, hey, you can hit up this peak. It connects to this trailhead, to this waterfall, to this other peak. Like, it's funny when I look at it in that like contrast. I'm like,
there's a,
huh, I just carried it over just in a different space. And I like how you said also, I felt it was much needed for me too. I think oftentimes when you go further into your life or career or personal ambitions, like you got to reinvent yourself.
and you got to learn how to do that in healthy ways, and and the dance scene and all that stuff. I mean,
I'm still very tethered to it, but like
Sure.
I'm not active how I used to be. And it was nothing against being in that scene or community. I still love it. It's who I am. It's part of my roots. It's just,
Yeah.
I feel like when you do something for a long time, sometimes you have to step back from it in order to learn to love it again.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's even physically possible
That's a
to
good point, too.
continue doing. It's like very physically demanding on the body, and
Forgot about that.
it's very competitive, and it's. I just don't know if you could physically. I know that there's some dancers out there. They're still doing it at in their 40s and 50s or whatever. But this suits you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think a lot of things would suit you. I think that you're, flexible enough to, you could do a lot of different things, but
like figure it out in different spaces or just make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this is great. I just
And now you're on this podcast.
Now I'm on this. Who would have thought? Yeah.
From the dance floor to the outdoors.
Yeah. No, you have a very cool story, like a very
Thank you.
interesting, progression. So, and then I think that speaks to how you are a person who is capable of growing and transitioning and moving into the different rooms of life. I think.
Wow, what a quote. I'm gonna clip that. That was a good one.
Well, yeah, I do think about it in that way. I think life is like one giant house, and throughout life you move into different rooms throughout the house. And some rooms are really grand and fun to be in. Other rooms are kind of small and not so great to be in. You move about life as you would move through the different rooms in a house. And I think the people that can transition from room to room with a growth mindset and elegance are going to have a much more pleasant life experience than, trying to stay in the same room for too long.
Damn, you got really deep right there. Yeah. You gotta learn to explore the other rooms and see how that goes and see where that journey may lead.
Yeah, all of this to say, I'm the wedding photographer that has never been married and no kids, and
We're all
so
on our
there's
own journey and our own timeline. That's the beautiful thing about life. And also, we get to do these cool things like traveling and hiking still. Like that may be harder if we're super tied down, right?
yeah, but yeah, I feel like you've inspired a lot of other folks in the dance scene that maybe would have never considered going on a hike, just for whatever reason. It seems intimidating, or just a little too out of their comfort zone, or so I think that's the beauty of when someone like yourself that comes from a very unexpected background that transitions into the outdoor space, not just you, but along with you, you bring all these other people. You make it more inviting and more accessible for
Bring
people.
others along the way with you.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this is the final question, then we get into rapid fire.
Oh gosh, I'm so not looking forward to the rapid fire. I feel like I'm not witty enough to answer those with.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine. All right, Jen. Super excited to ask you this next question, as you just have so many countless adventures. If there was one hiking or outdoor experience you could relive all over again, what would that be for you?
See, this is
Just one.
the thing is, I'm not one to reminisce too much about the past and go down memory lane in that kind of way. I feel like whatever happened in the past, I'm good with it, however prepared I was for it or not. If it was an underwhelming experience or the best experience ever, I feel like I'm good. I usually look toward the future. I'm really excited to go to the Dolomites, Italian Dolomites, Patagonia at some point. Yeah, those other ones that I mentioned, North Cascades, National Park. There's so many national parks here in the States. But yeah, hopefully this isn't a boring answer, but I don't think there's anything that I would really want to relive.
Always looking forward, never looking back.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like if I think about, let's just say it was a really great experience, like some past experience was really, really great. I feel like if I ever try to recreate that in the future, I don't want to be someone that tries to recreate things from the past.
I feel that way about my Mount Whitney one-day hike experience. I just want to remember it how I did, and that's it. I don't want to, part of me doesn't even want to go back because of that, even though I kind of do, but I understand where you're coming from.
And not to say that I don't want to do things twice. It's just that I'm just not someone that wants to try to recreate something or try to do it over. Each experience is its own unique experience with, however that is, with new people, a different age, a different season of life. All of my past experiences, it just is what it is. I just want it to live in my memory and just look forward to the next experience.
The deepest answer that I've ever got to that question. Thank you.
Oh, that was deep? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth in that.
Okay, I feel like that was sort of a boring answer. Like you were looking for something
boring
specific.
for you may not be perceived boring on the other side, Jen. Okay? I'm not just saying that to say that. There was a lot to unpack within what you said. So.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you thought so. Because I mean, I could list a bunch of countries and a bunch of hikes and a bunch of experiences. But
Nah,
thinking back,
that'd be
yeah,
basic, right?
I'm not one to oh, I want to redo this.
Waterfall trip from the beginning of the year. I was gonna laugh if you were gonna say that. I was gonna be like, this waterfall trip really had a massive impression on Jen.
Just the whole podcast, I'm just talking about this one trip that I took. Yeah.
There's one thing you get from this episode. It's just this one waterfall trip, life changing, forever impactful. Guess what?
Guess what?
It's time for the rapid fire
Oh,
question
gosh.
section.
Okay.
So I know you're a bit familiar, but the way it works, there's 2 rounds. Round 1 is outer focused, and then round 2 is personal. So just answer with one-word answers or short and concise answers. So round 1,
Well, I feel like my brain isn't very rapid, so
just do your best. Round 1, you ready?
okay.
You ready, rock steady?
I'm really nervous for this part.
So you're
wait.
ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, she's ready. Favorite trail snack?
Trail snack.
Trail snack.
The mint chocolate Cliff Bars.
Oh, yeah, I've had that. Great answer. Mint chocolate Cliff Bars for the record. Trail runners or hiking boots?
Hiking boots.
Desert or deserted island?
Ooh, gosh. Deserted island.
Deserted island for the record. Waterfalls or lakes?
Waterfalls.
Dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
Rock scrambling or surfing loose scree? If you even know what that latter means.
I like rock scrambling. I
Okay.
think that's really fun.
Mountain lions or grizzly bears?
Oh, grizzly bears. Okay, not just bears, but grizzly bears.
Grizzly bears.
Okay, then mountain lions. 100%, yeah. don't
I like
need
how
to
you had to really clarify that and emphasize
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if we're talking like black bears, that's one thing.
It's completely different.
But grizzly bears, I don't
Yeah.
need to be encountering grizzly bears.
I keep telling people like they're so afraid of bears, understandably, but in California there are no brown or grizzly bears. It's all black bears, and oftentimes
Yeah.
a lot of the black bears have brown fur.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people don't know
There's
that.
no grizzly bears here.
Taco Tuesday or Waterfall Wednesday?
Huh? How are those two things?
They're not. It's just random. Oh, I love that reaction. Just answer.
Taco Tuesday.
Okay, Taco
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I like my
They're not
Mexican.
related. It's just a random rapid fire I've had in here for so long and just included it for some reason. Tent or hammock?
Oh, for sleeping? Are we talking about? Am I going to take a nap?
Yeah, let's say like you're camping.
If we're talking about sleeping, like actually getting some shut eye, then a tent.
Okay.
I cannot sleep in a hammock.
I've seen some people sleep in a hammock in Santa Barbara in the beginning of this trail. It's so interesting. National park you want to visit the most that you have not already?
North Cascades National Park.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
been mentioning that.
Oh, that I didn't mention already.
Oh, that you have not been to already.
Okay, North
So
Cascades.
North
National Park.
Cascades.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that still works. Greatest fear on the trail?
Greatest fear, rattlesnakes.
In one word, how does hiking make you feel?
Really grateful. I'm
So grateful is the word.
yeah.
In one word, how does travel make you feel?
Again, I'd say really grateful.
Grateful. What's your ideal outside temperature?
Almost 80.
Almost 80. Well, that's a first. Almost 80.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I live in Southern California for a reason. I feel like this is what I'm paying for. This hot weather.
This is absolutely.
You know, if anyone doesn't like this hot weather, why the heck are you living here?
Why are you here?
There's so many other places in the country where you could move to that's not nearly as expensive.
All right. Well, that concludes round 1. You survived.
Yeah, okay. Those weren't nearly as brutal as
See, I told you you'll be just fine. This is where we take our 10-second bevy break. I usually have water, but this time I have yerba madre, which is yerba mate. Got this really cool koozie. Stagnation is death. I really do believe that. It's from a local mountaineering shop in Lone Pine.
Oh,
It's called Big Willie Mountaineering or Big Willie Outdoors. All right, round 2. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready, rock steady?
Okay.
Here we go. That's the spirit. You're much more into it now. Favorite comfort food?
Oh, mac and cheese.
That's always the most comforting food.
But not the Kraft mac and cheese. I've outgrown that. I'm talking like the good, like the Kraft
Talking about gourmet.
gourmet
Okay.
mac and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, like real cheese with like little bacon bits.
Favorite cartoon show growing up?
Rugrats.
Oh my God, so iconic. I love Rugrats. Great answer. Favorite emoji?
Probably the laughing one.
With the eye tears
With
laughing?
the eye tears or like the really, yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that one. App you're currently using the most besides Instagram?
Oh. Probably Hinge. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
kidding.
I've had a lot of friends find their wifey and hubby on Hinge.
Oh yeah, I've had lots of couples.
Hinge,
meet.
sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, I've had lots of couples meet each other online.
I
yeah.
believe that.
Or they'll meet in college or something like that. But yeah,
Hinge for the record.
Hinge. That's so lame. Think of a different app and
That's not lame, but feel free to mention another app if you want.
probably my Gmail email app.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Gmail email app. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's I'm constantly.
Constantly working, constantly on it.
It sounds so lame to be like, yeah, I'm addicted to my email, but really, it's
You're
like a
focused on your work and your
nobody
career.
talks about email addiction, but it's I've been addicted to my email for quite a while now.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Oh, probably a bird.
Awesome. Any particular bird come to mind?
Yeah, just a bird.
Just a bird?
Yeah.
Just want to be above everybody?
I'll take what I can get. Yeah.
One of these birds that have been frolicking around the podcast? There's just so many birds around us. So much has happened.
Yeah, preferably a bird that can fly and like fly long distances and swim in the water. That'd be great.
That's right. A lot of birds don't swim in the water.
Yeah.
Photographer that greatly inspires you?
Oh, so again, I have some favorites.
Anyone in the moment that greatly inspires you?
I'm a little bit superstitious about naming them out loud because I don't want to like meet my heroes kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like a little bit superstitious about it, but obviously like Ansel Adams can be a huge inspiration for a lot of people just in like a general sense. And by the way, I've been looking at his photographs in a little bit more detailed way now that I've been to Yosemite so many times, and it really is incredible what he was able to achieve back then. I'm more impressed by him now than I ever have been.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a whole wilderness named after this photographer.
But yeah, I definitely have some photographers that inspire me just within the elopement photography industry, and especially the ones that
Did you want to shout one of them out, or you just want to keep that?
I'll give a shout out to Megan McPhail. And back when I was discovering that this was a thing, her reels would show up on my Instagram, and it was just like the wildest thing, seeing her stuff. Because at first I was like, what is this? Where are they?
Yeah.
She's taking these couples out to Zion, and she was this single woman going all around the US in her camper, and just very, very independent, very capable, just like all around, just very, very inspiring.
I like that a lot. Midwest or the West Coast?
Oh, depends on what for living or for...
At this point in your life.
At this point in my life, the West Coast. There's just so much out here. I mean, I've been living out here for a while, and there's still so much that I have left to see and do. The Midwest has some great things about it too. It's way more affordable. I guess it just depends on what you want out of life, but for the foreseeable future, West Coast. Yeah.
West Coast for the record. And I meant to ask you this next question in the other section, so I'm just going to ask it now. Santa Monica Mountains or San Gabriel Mountains?
Oh, I like the Santa Monica Mountains because of all the ocean views from all those trails. San Gabriel Mountains, I feel like those trails are a bit more covered and a little bit more enjoyable. Like you're not out in the beating sun.
That's right, because the Angeles National Forest is in that same region. So you have the dense canopy of the trees on a lot of sections in the San Gabriel Mountains. Okay, so Santa Monica Mountains or Eastern Sierra?
Oh, now that's a much harder one to answer.
If you had to choose one at this moment.
It's been a while since I've been out to Eastern Sierras, so I'm just gonna...
Or like Eastern Sierra, Sierra Nevada, that mountain range, that region. Doesn't have to be Eastern Sierra specifically per se.
Yeah, I feel like, it's just so much more epic out there.
It is.
You know,
pretty
Santa Monica
dramatic.
Mountains are pretty, but yeah, they're not. I feel like you're not comparing apples to apples.
Sure.
Obviously, they're much closer to me, much more accessible. It would be a whole trip. Like
Yeah.
I'd have to really plan to go up there. I would say though, Sierra Nevada, you know, that whole mountain range, because let's just say if someone is coming from out of town to California, and if I were going to recommend going to Santa Monica Mountains,
This is happening right now.
yeah, this is...
I love it. I definitely should clip this moment.
You know, usually there's a bunch more out on this lake.
Really?
Yeah, because they do rentals.
For a moment, I thought I was in Echo Park Lake or Silver Lake.
Yeah.
I forgot which one has the
It's
swans.
Echo Park, yeah.
Echo Park, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
wait a second.
Same thing.
We're in Lake Balboa. See, I almost
Yeah,
forgot.
there's not very many people out on the lake right now because I think it's overcast and it's
Yeah.
a weekday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen these like a dozen of them out there.
They definitely wanted to be on the podcast. That's why.
They needed to make their debut.
You see, we moving on up, y'all. Just Drink Podcast.
How about this? If I were to recommend one of them to people coming in from out of town
Okay.
to explore, Sierra Nevada, that whole area.
All right, the
thing of
next
the world.
question. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Oh, you already asked me this. A bird.
Oh, I did it? Okay.
You know what?
Skirt-
I'm taking so long to answer these rapid fire questions that you forgot. You forgot that you asked this. You asked the same question twice.
I'm so
I
dead.
suck at this. I'm so sorry.
All right, next question. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to? It could also be a period of time that you didn't live in.
Oh, yeah. Because I was gonna say, Justin, you're nostalgic. You're always like wanting to dig into the past.
Certain questions.
100%. I would go back to the High Middle Ages / Renaissance period.
Right on.
Yeah,
And
like
you've been talking about that.
Yeah. Like anywhere between like the 1200s through maybe the 1600s. Yeah, maybe the 1700s, which is like
In Europe, specifically.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Describe
be pretty
yourself
amazing.
in 3 words.
Oh, I'm so bad at these like self-reflective questions. I would say driven. I've always been pretty driven. I would say curious about the world.
So curious.
Curious / adventurous, I guess you could.
Take us home with the final one.
I would say caring.
That's a nice one to round it out. And here's the final question of the rapid fire question section. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Favorite sound?
Oh, like water from a creek.
I love how specific you got. Water from a creek.
Yeah. I do like the waterfall sound, but sometimes I can get a little loud. That water that I don't even know what makes that sound. It's like coming over the rocks. It's just like that.
The creek.
Yeah, that creek sound. I could listen to that for just days and days. I love the sound of the crackle from a campfire. I love that too. But yeah, I'd say the Water Creek sound or those smaller waterfall sounds.
That's a very special sound. It feels very like therapeutic and like it massages your mind. Almost makes you want to fall asleep too.
Yeah, it's very like hypnotic and very really calming.
All right, that concludes the rapid fire question section.
Yay!
You survived both rounds.
Yay!
So
okay.
We're pretty much at the end of the episode, but I always turn the spotlight back to the guest. Jennifer, or Jen, I've been calling you this entire time. Do you have any final words you want to share to your friends and family, the outdoor community? You know, the floor is yours.
I hope everything you heard inspires either yourselves or if you know anyone who would resonate with the adventure elopement thing. You know, the whole point is just to get this out there and, you know, this whole concept out there. And again, having a wedding is very much a personality thing. If you've been dreaming of a big wedding and inviting all of your friends and family and getting everyone into one room to celebrate, that's totally fine, you know, but that really stresses out a lot of people. They're not looking forward to that. And this offers, the adventure elopement, it offers pretty much the opposite of that. And yeah, and for those that feel like they resonate with the adventure elopements, hopefully this gives you a little more knowledge and insight about what those are, even if it's not for you or you're already married or something, but you know someone that would like to do something like this as an alternative option to the big wedding. At least you know whether you hire me or someone else, at least hopefully people understand or know about the concept. Because this is still sort of an alternative, you know, not an underground thing, but still like an alternative thing. It's not super mainstream.
Getting there slowly.
Getting there. Yeah.
And where can we find you on social media? And do you have a website you can direct us to check out more of your portfolio and work if anyone wants to either follow your adventures, see the photos, or I've seen a lot of amazing client testimonials on your website, so feel free to share everything.
Yeah, so the main thing is my website, jenniferwhalenweddings.com. I have a mammoth website. There's a lot of information on the website, lots of examples of all the, you know, locations that I service. I'm pretty active on Instagram, again, Jennifer Whalen Weddings, and I'm getting better at showing my face and taking selfies and stuff like that. You know, I do like to keep it about the clients and showing off their elopements. But yeah.
They want to see the woman behind the camera, behind the lens. What does she look like? Who is she? Who's creating all of this outdoor magic? I
know. I had a bride recently. I think I've been doing a really bad job of getting my personality out there because she said, you know, I'm so glad that we're finally meeting in person. I didn't know what you were going to be like. I didn't know if you were going to, you know, if you were like AI or something. I was like, oh, I need to like show my face more and just like show my personality more. I don't want people thinking that I'm...
Which is why you're on the Just Trek podcast. They'll feel connected to you and your award-winning personality.
My award win.
You like that adjective?
I'm just happy to have this opportunity where I'm able to share more about adventure elopements and get the word out. You don't have to do the big wedding if you're stressed out about that for whatever reason. There's other ways of getting married. Like I said, I think for a lot of people it's just a huge weight lifted off of their shoulder for all different kinds of reasons. So I will be doing the same thing when the day comes. Yeah.
Jennifer, for sharing all your information, sharing your final thought. We're now at the end of the pod. Jennifer Whalen, Jennifer Whalen Weddings, Just Trek Podcast, Elevation as a Recreation. We're out, y'all. Peace.
Bye.